Today is April 13th, 2012. My name is Sherry Kiefner, and I'm in Manhattan, Illinois today at the home of Lester and Rita Robbins. I'm conducting this interview as part of Will to Farm, a Will County Farm Bureau oral history project in collaboration with the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield. Lester and Rita, it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to both of you today. Rita, I'd like to start by getting a little bit of background on your childhood and your family. When and where were you born?
I was born by Manteno, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. And what year?
1920.
Okay. Were you born in a hospital or were you born at home?
Oh, homeborn.
Homeborn. Tell me a little about your family. What did your parents do?
We're farmers. We were farmers. My mother raised chickens and...
Mm-hmm. and your father?
Yeah, he was a farmer.
And where were you raised?
Yeah, by Manteno, on a farm by Manteno, Illinois.
Okay.
And then we moved up later on when I was about 16 to around Manhattan, a Wilton Center.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay. Where did you fall? Were you the oldest, the youngest?
I was next to the youngest.
Okay. And do you remember your grandparents at all?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
Well, I do the one grandmother I did that
Mm-hmm.
was in Bourbonnais. She lived in Bourbonnais. It was
Okay.
by mother's mother.
Okay. Tell me about the house you grew up in.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't.
Okay. Was it a big house? Was it a small house?
It was just a regular size house.
Did you have plumbing in that house and electricity?
No plumbing.
No plumbing. Okay. Was there anything special that you remember about the house or any features of the house that were kind of unique to it?
No, I really don't.
Okay. Did the family have a garden?
Oh, yes. My parents had a garden.
And who was main responsibility was the garden?
My mother's.
Mm-hmm. What would a typical family dinner have been like when you were a child? Did the whole family eat together?
Oh, usually, yes.
What was your first school? Where did you go to school?
Oh, gee, I don't even remember the name of the school.
Was it a small school or a large
yes,
school?
just a small school.
Were the classes combined?
No, there was all
Individual?
Individual grades.
Okay. And who were your friends growing up?
Oh, Oline Dandran and May Lawrence and Mary Barr. And so.
Did you live close enough to those kids to walk or?
Well, the Oline Dandran, that was my closest friend, and we'd walk back and forth. It wasn't too close, but we did walk back and forth.
What type of things did you do as a kid for fun?
Well, I remember we hanging May baskets.
Hanging May baskets. Tell me a little about that.
Well, we did that in the month of May. We'd hang May baskets, and then we'd go hide, and people had to find us. And so.
I guess I've never hung May baskets. Tell me exactly how you do that. You hang a May basket.
Well, we made the baskets with flowers in, and then we'd hang them on the doorknob, and we'd holler May basket, and then we'd run and hide, and then they're supposed to find us.
Ah, so it's similar to hide and seek.
Yeah.
But involved a May basket. Interesting. What was something special, like a special treat when you were a child? Either something to do or maybe a special meal, anything that you remember like that?
Oh, and my mother made buckwheat pancakes in the morning. That was special.
Mm-hmm. Did your house have a radio when you were a child?
No.
Okay. What do you recall about the Great Depression?
Not too much.
Mm-hmm. It really wasn't too much of an influence on your family.
No.
Okay. Okay. Um, Tell me about the farm from your earliest memories. What did you produce, or what livestock did you have on the farm?
Oh, they had cows
Mm-hmm.
and pigs and chickens. My mother raised a lot of chickens.
Mm-hmm. Did you also have row crops like corn, wheat,
Yeah, corn
oats?
and beans.
Okay.
Corn mostly.
Okay. And did you have chores on the farm?
Pardon?
Did you have chores
Oh,
to
yeah.
do on the farm?
I was always the one that had to go get the cobs in for the cook stove.
Oh,
And the wood, and we burned in the cook stove. That was my job.
how old were you when you were doing that? Do you recall?
Oh, probably 10. So,
Okay, bringing cobs in for the cook stove. What about with the actual farm operation, the livestock? Did you have responsibilities with that when you were a kid?
no, I didn't.
Okay. Um, what did your family enjoy doing together? Like holidays on a recreation day, how was it spent with the family?
Well, we just get together at my folks' home
Mm-hmm.
with the family.
Okay. How were holidays celebrated? Were there any special holidays you remember when you were a child with your siblings and parents?
Well, Easter mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and Christmas.
How would Easter have been spent?
Well, we go to church in the morning and then Easter dinner.
Okay. Did other family come in from out of town, or was it just...
Not really, no.
Okay. Lester, I'm going to ask you some questions now about your family and childhood from your youth. When and where were you born?
Right here in this house.
Right here in this house.
Oh, I wasn't right. I was born in the hospital, but this is where I live.
Oh, okay.
That's where we live.
And what year were you born?
1920.
Okay. Tell me about your family, your parents.
They farmed here. They milked cows, and they raised pigs, chickens, and farmed this farm here, 120 acres, which we own here now.
Okay.
And I was born right here, or in town, but Joliet.
Okay, in Joliet you were born at the hospital. Which hospital in Joliet?
St. Joe's.
Okay. What was your mother like?
What?
Tell me a little about your mother.
Oh, she was Irish. She went to church every Sunday, never missed church or a holiday that she's supposed to go. And that's about it. She was cooked all the time.
Okay. Do you recall your grandparents?
No, I didn't remember them at all.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had three sisters and four boys. Three boys, brothers.
Okay. Which end were you at? Or were you one of the older or the younger?
Younger end.
You were at the younger end? Okay.
Next to the youngest.
So you were raised in this house. Was this house much different that you remember it as a child?
No, not too much different at all. It's been rebuilt inside and changed some, but not much. No, same rooms and everything.
Okay. Got furnace now.
A bathroom had been put on here not too many years after. Probably.
When Don was born, we got the furnace, the bathroom.
What year was that? I don't know what year it was, but we had the bathroom put on after we got.
Was Don the oldest of the children?
No, he was the third one.
The third. So after the third child, you got a bathroom in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never,
what about heat?
we didn't, well, we had a
Right where you're sitting.
coal burner stove was sitting right where you're sitting. And we put the coal in that every night to fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd have heat in all night and keep the house warm, the whole house.
Mm-hmm. Did your household have a radio, Lester, when you were a kid?
Yeah, they had radio.
What do you recall listening to on the radio?
WG, mostly had to listen.
Uh-huh. Back years ago when you were a small child, do you ever remember, did the family ever listen to like FDR's Fireside Chats or anything like that?
No.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Fibber McGee and Molly, that's what I was wondering, if there was any radio shows that you listened to. Where was your first school when you were a small child?
Mile from here, up out in the country here.
Okay. Was it a one-room schoolhouse?
Yes, one-room schoolhouse.
And how did you get to school?
Walked.
Okay.
Across the field or any way we get there. Hardly ever got a ride.
Uh-huh. Who were your friends when you were a kid?
Oh, had Marvin Bittner and Ray Nugent down here. Riles used to be here, and there's a bunch of more, but I can't think of them right now.
What did you do as a kid for entertainment?
Play ball. We had ball, going games all the time, go someplace and play ball.
Okay. Did you have farm chores to do when you were a young child?
Yeah, I had to clean out the barn. That was my job, to clean the horse barn out.
Uh-huh.
I had to keep that clean. So that was my job.
And the horses, were they the horses used for the farm work?
Well, we used to have 12, 13 horses. And pretty good job.
Pretty good job. A pretty big job taking care of them.
That's right.
And what else did you have on the family farm when you were growing up?
Well, we had cows and pigs and chickens and
geese.
And sheep. We had some sheep too. Geese. We had quite a few geese. So that was about it.
Were all of your brothers and sisters involved with the farm when you were kids? Did everyone have their own responsibilities?
Yeah.
What were some of the other kids' responsibilities?
Well, we change off jobs, different jobs to do all the time. They used to have a garden, and they took care of the garden mostly.
Mm-hmm. Were there any chores that you particularly didn't like to do?
Well, I had to take care of the cows too, and we had milk by hand then.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they had to help milk.
Mm-hmm. About how old were you when you were helping milk cows?
I was probably about 6 years old.
Wow. And then, so as you got older, where did you go to high school at?
Oh, 1.5 year to Peatone ago.
Okay. And what kind of activities or sports were you involved in as a teenager? Like,
wasn't in any.
No?
No.
Okay. And Rita, how did the two of you meet? And when? Do you remember how old you were when you met Lester?
What, about 15, 16?
Yeah.
At ball games at Wilton Center.
Okay. Playing with your friends, Lester?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you started dating?
Yeah.
So what did you do on dates at that time? Where did you go?
Oh, we went to dances and shows.
The Darb in Mantino, the show house in Mantino, the Darb Theater.
Oh. And where would they have dances at?
Wilton Center they have in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
About it.
What was Manhattan like at that time?
Oh, it was nothing much different than it is right now.
Goodwin's grocery store.
Had a grocery store,
Mhm.
tavern, and post office, and doctors. Had a couple doctors in there then.
Okay. Um, what kind of roads went into town? Were they gravel roads, dirt roads?
Dirt
Roads.
road.
Did many people have cars at that time?
Yeah, probably everybody had a car, but
Mm-hmm.
just one.
Okay. When did you get your first car? Do you remember?
30, what was it? 30, yeah. 29.
29. Okay.
For a car, 1929.
Okay, so when you were a child, your family had a
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
Lester, do you remember what kind of a car?
Ford.
A Ford?
Yeah.
What was the name of your first school that you went to? You mentioned
Robbins School.
Robbins School?
Yeah.
And was that at all affiliated
I
with?
went there 8 years, yeah.
Went there 8 years? Okay. Do you remember anything in particular about going to school there?
No, I used to help start the furnace all the time.
Uh-huh.
It'd be cold in the morning, and we'd always, all the kids would put you in and haul coal to us, and we get warmed up.
So you two, you said you met when you were 15 or 16. Rita, do you remember what you most admired about Lester?
Different.
Aw. Lester, do you remember, what do you remember most about Rita when you met her?
She was very talkative.
Okay. And when did you decide to get married?
Oh, when it was 19, yeah. We were 19, we got married.
We were 20.
20.
Okay. And where did you get married?
St. Patrick's Wilton Center.
St. Patrick's Church. Okay. What stands out the most about your memory day? And that's for both of you.
Say that again.
What stands out the most? What do you remember the most about your wedding day?
I went to Chicago on our wedding.
Just overnight.
And it stormed up there. Well, it snowed.
Snowstorm.
And we had to come home. We couldn't get out of Chicago already. It snowed so hard. And the streets was blocked. And then we got home here. And everything was blocked down here. So we had to go through the field to get
To my folks' home.
to where her folks lived. That was
Okay.
in the by the Girders Wood.
Rita, so where did you stay in Chicago for your honeymoon?
Gee, I don't even remember the name of the hotel.
Did you drive up?
Yeah, we drove up there and stayed one night and come home the next day.
But everything was blocked because of
We
the
had
snow.
a lot of snow,
What month was it?
January.
Okay.
25th of January.
So how long have the two of you been married now?
71 years.
71 years. Wow. And where did you move to right after getting married?
About a mile down the road here. There's a trailer there now where the house was. The house is gone. We lived there for a couple years and then we moved here.
Okay. Were any of your kids born while you were living in the other house, or were they born here? Of your children?
Bob was born.
Bob, I think we had Bob when we lived there. The rest were all
Okay.
born here.
Okay. So what were some of the challenges, Rita, of having your own household, being in charge of your own household?
Well, It was kind of different. I always lived at home with my parents, so running your own place, raising kids.
What would a typical day have been like from the time you got up to the time you went to bed? What was a typical day at that time?
Well, housework.
Did you have farm chores as well as house chores?
Well, we took care of chickens. We raised chickens, and I helped take care of them. But otherwise, it was the household and the kids and the washing and all the housework.
And did you have electricity in the house when you first got married?
No.
So what kind of lights did you have?
We had gasoline light. And we had the washing machine with a gasoline motor.
And how many chickens did you have at that time?
Probably 200.
Okay. And then you moved back here to this farm where you're living now? So you were just at the other place a short time?
Yep, just a short time there, and then we moved here and been here ever since.
Lester, you look like you want to add something.
I think.
So did you have dairy cows here too?
Yes. Pigs.
Okay. And were those mostly your responsibility, Lester?
Yeah. Milking cows.
Was your family still involved with the farm at that time?
Yes.
But his mother and dad, when we moved here, they moved to Wilton Center. His mother and dad, so that we had the house here.
But they were still involved in the farm operation.
Well, the farming part, yeah.
What about your brothers? Were your brothers involved in the farm also?
Yes.
Okay. Well, shortly after the two of you got married, Pearl Harbor was bombed. What do you recall about that event?
I was in the hospital with Bob when that happened.
Okay.
When Bob was born.
Okay. Lester, do you remember what you were doing when you heard about that?
No, I was working on the farm is all
Okay. And Lester, were you in the military during World War II?
No. I was working over at the ammunition plant over there for 2 years, and I got out of I didn't have to go to the Army.
What changed during the war? Do you recall any changes in lifestyle?
No, there wasn't too much difference. Farming stayed about the same. Of course, I went in the corn shelling business in 49.
Okay.
Started shelling corn.
Okay.
I shelled corn for 40 years.
Okay.
Shelled in all the neighborhoods. I went to Elwood, Peyton, Mantino, Manhattan, all over.
When you were working at the arsenal, you said you worked at the arsenal during the war?
No, I did just help build it, and then they wanted me to go start, and I said, no, I'll go farming.
Okay. So you helped build it. How did you balance the farm work with the off-the-farm work at that time?
It was all right, but I'd rather do farm work than labor like that.
And did any of your siblings or other family members of either of you serve in World War II?
No.
Okay. Do you recall any rationing during the war? Did that affect you at all?
Yeah, it was rationing.
Yeah, we had a hard time getting different things. And I know, what was it? Coffee was one thing, and we were robbed one day, and they took our coffee that we had. And coal, you had a hard time to get coal.
That was actually one of my next questions. Was crime a problem?
Yeah.
Some, but not too bad.
You were just robbed that one time that you remember. And what did they take other than coffee, obviously?
I don't remember now what they took. It was
coal. They took coal and
coal
coffee. That's all they took. I don't know why, but.
Well, those were the things that were hard to get.
Yeah.
They come in the house and got the coffee and
and our little radio. We waited a long time for a radio, and they took our radio. We had got a small radio. That was gone, too.
They went to the basement and got coal. How we knew it was, we could see where they dug into it.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever know or have any suspicions of who did it?
No.
What was or anything?
Tell me about your children. Rita, when was the first child born and who was it?
Robert. Bob.
Okay.
He was born in, 1941.
Okay. And how did things change when the children arrived for you?
What do you mean change?
More responsibilities. Did you continue with your same responsibilities on the farm, or did it shift more towards the house and the kids?
Well, I had a little more towards the kids in the household. Didn't do as much outside.
And so how many children did you have?
6.
And how far apart were they spaced?
I don't know.
That's okay. So were the kids involved with the farm?
Yeah, they helped
when they were young.
Yeah.
Did you still have all of the livestock? Lester, do you remember if you had the livestock when the kids were young?
Yeah.
Did the kids do much to help with the livestock?
Well, they helped some, yeah. They finally got out of the business. Went straight farming.
Do you remember why you stopped with the livestock, like the beef and the pigs, the dairy?
Well, we had some beef and we did that for a few years and we got out of that business. Then we rented some more ground, so then we'll quit the beef business and went farming. So.
And you had pigs at one time too.
Yes. Pigs, sheep. We had some sheep.
Where did the pigs go for marketing?
I went to Chicago. We had to haul them to Manhattan up here to put them on the train. And they'd go to Chicago.
Okay.
Put them in a wagon and haul them to Manhattan and go to Chicago.
Had you ever been to the Chicago stockyards yourself?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Okay. Later then, because you were just putting them on the train to go up there.
Yeah.
But you went up hauling up there some
other times. We didn't go in.
Okay. What do you recall about the stockyards in Chicago?
It was a big place and it was dirty. That's it.
Rita, did you ever go with him?
No.
How long did you have the chickens, Rita? Did you have the chickens after the kids were born?
Yeah, for a while, yes.
Okay. And the dairy cattle, how long did you have those after the kids were born?
We had them for a while because Tom got kicked by a cow, you remember?
Yeah.
He had stitches in his head.
We had probably 15 years after they just...
What sort of mischief did the kids get in on the farm? Do you recall any stories?
Well, Tom was our little runaway. Our neighbor called up, says, "You know a little boy running down the road? There's a little boy going by my house." It was Tom.
You had told me a story one other time, Rita, about one of the kids getting hung in the corn crib. How did that happen?
Well, they had suspended overalls, and they had a what do you call him?
Hoist.
A hoist up in the crib, and they hooked him up and had him up top of the crib.
Did they leave him there for you to find, or did they let him back down?
Well, we had to get him down.
They left him hanging there for a while. We couldn't find him, and here he was hanging up in the crib.
No one would tell, huh? When you had the dairy cattle, how did the milk get to the dairy?
Truck come and pick it up every day.
Mm-hmm.
He had a milk house here where he kept it in the water and kept it cool, and he come and picked it up there every day.
Now, did you have an electric pump for the water?
Oh,
Windmill.
A windmill we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pump the water into the tank.
And if it wasn't windy?
Yeah, it ran pretty good. It did a good job.
Okay. And so why then did you start eliminating the livestock, just so that you could get more into the corn?
We got it involved in corn shelling more.
Mm-hmm.
And some nights I'd have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start milking cows and go shelling all day. So I eliminated that job and just shelled corn for 40 years.
Okay. What was a shelling day like?
It was it was good. It was interesting. And you get lunch about 9 o'clock in the morning and lunch in the afternoon. And you get good dinners. Oh, it was interesting. It was something else to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I used to shell all over.
Was a sheller an expensive piece of equipment? Is that why people would hire you to come in and do it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And how many men did it take to run the sheller? How many?
Well, just one. I just run myself, and it'd have to have shovelers in the crib to keep the corn in the sheller, and have to have trucks or wagons, whatever way they hauled it.
Okay. And so the dairy cattle were eliminated to make time for the shelling. And did you have a tractor at this time?
Yeah. I bought the first tractor in 1942, and I still got it. Farm All M.
Okay.
But we had a tractor a couple of years, 8 or 10 years before that. Had a Fordson.
Okay.
So.
Did you have rubber tires on the Fordson?
No, we had steel wheels on that. We got rubber tires on the tractor M.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What were some of the challenges of switching from horses to tractors?
It was quite a job. It quite a bit of difference. I mean, you get so much done in a day that you never, in the horses, you didn't get too much done.
Mm-hmm.
The tractor, you get over a lot of ground.
So how much land were you farming initially when you and Rita got married?
Oh, about 400 acres at the time. We bought the tractor.
Okay. That's a lot to farm with the horses.
Yeah.
So what were some of the more dangerous jobs on the farm?
Well, it was all dangerous. I mean, used to have a corn picker who used to pull with the horses, and you had to sit up there and keep knocking the corn off. Of course, I got a hand out of it, all banged up. But it
From the corn picker?
It was a dangerous job, that combine or shelling or husking corn.
Mm-hmm. Tell me how corn was husked before the tractors, the early days of corn.
Well, we used to have a corn picker with a one-row corn picker, and used to pull it with horses.
Mm-hmm.
Put 3, 4 horses on it. Four horses, and you pull a one-row corn picker, and then you have a wagon with 2 horses on it beside the corn picker, and you go all day long that way, and they take them in, unload the wagon at the elevator, at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
So now we used to do a lot of it that way.
Did you do any corn picking by hand before the corn picker?
We picked a lot of days, a lot of corn beforehand. My dad and I husked one day, all day, and didn't get a wagon full because the corn borers ate the corn. But we used to husk a lot before we got the corn picker.
What sort of yield did you get for an acre of corn at that time in a good year?
40 bushel, maybe 35. Would be about the best.
And what do you suppose you're getting now?
Well, up to near 200. So, it'd be quite a difference. Of course, we didn't have fertilizer or anything then except cow manure, so.
What about hay? Did you put up hay when you had the horses?
Yeah, we had to have hay for our cattle, and had straw, oats. Oats we'd cut that with a corn binder and thrash that, and put the oats in the crib and feed that to cattle and the horses, and put the straw, blow the straw in the barn. Use that for bedding. So.
What about the hay? Did you bale your own hay or initially?
Yeah, we didn't have no balers then. We put it in by hand.
And so how was it cut?
With a mower. We had mowers in.
Okay.
Pull the horses.
Okay. Were you ever seriously injured when doing farm work? You talked about your hand. How did you hurt your hand?
I got that cut in the corn picker with the horses. I was knocking the ears off the rolls. I got a cut.
Do you remember any like competitions? Did you ever go to any like husking competitions or plowing matches when you were young?
Yeah, we used to go to some. Corn picking and that, hand corn picking. That's fun to watch them. So, see how many bushel they husk in such a length of time, or how many bushels or something.
What about county fairs? Was that a family thing that you did?
What's that?
County fairs.
Yeah, we used to go to the fairs.
Always bring our lunch.
Teton Fair, that used to be the big one.
Rita, did you take all the kids to the fair when you were going to the county fair?
We usually took whichever ones we had, we took them with us, and we'd pack our dinner and eat at the fairgrounds.
What were some of your holidays like with the family, with the young family for you guys?
Noisy.
We went to the island in Wilmington a lot for picnics with the families.
4th of July.
Usually the 4th of July.
And so when and why did you start planting soybeans? When did the soybeans come along? Do you recall?
I don't know what year it did. Probably back in the late 40s, early 50s.
And what were the advantages of soybeans?
Well, we used to grind them up for feed too, mixed feed with them. For our cattle and stuff, and pigs especially. But there wasn't too much of a market because there wasn't too many beans around.
What are some of the changes that you've seen over the years with corn production?
Awful lot.
What were some of the big ones that made the biggest difference, would you say, from that 35 to 40 bushel yield you were getting and picking it by hand?
Well, when the combine come along, that was a big deal. That took the work out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You just sit there and watch it go.
Rita, what was the one change in your life that you most welcomed from the time you got married to now? What was one of the best
automatic
innovations?
wash machine
Automatic washing machine?
and clothes dryer.
Okay. And what have been some of the greatest challenges in farming?
The markets is the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to get for what you're getting, the raising. The market, you can never know what you're going to get for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge, I think.
Rita, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges of farming and a life of farming?
Well, the changes, how the machinery has changed, bigger machinery, and
Mm-hmm.
they could do more in less time. And
Mm-hmm. What's the highest number of acres that you've farmed, Lester?
What's that?
What's the most acres that you've farmed?
3,500.
That's quite a jump.
With the boys, yes.
but not alone.
We're not alone. We're boys.
Right. When did your boys start farming with you?
I don't remember. I couldn't say. Oh.
Two of them never farmed.
Mm-hmm.
We got one that's a florist and
Mm-hmm.
one's a plumber.
Okay.
When they got out of high school, they started farming. I don't know what that would be. Probably
So
30 years ago.
It was 1969 for my dad.
1960.
That's when he got out of high school.
So it was you and two or three of the boys
Yeah.
with the operation. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about natural disasters in your farming career and life together?
Well,
Tornadoes, snowstorms, anything that stands out in your mind that was particularly...
No, not that I know of. Nothing.
Well, with that ice storm, when we were without lights for 2 or 3 days, but that was
Mm-hmm.
nothing too bad.
Are you still helping out on the farm?
Yeah.
Still farming?
Try to. Not too much, but I do some.
And what's your favorite chore on the farm right now?
Favorite what?
Chore.
Oh.
Help repair machinery. That's my main one now.
That's your main one now,
That's
fixing
my main
things.
one.
He fixed what they break.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of for both of you. What have been some of your most rewarding experiences? Not just the farm, but just in general.
What's that?
Most rewarding experiences. What have been some of your most rewarding experiences? Accomplishments?
I don't know what it would be.
Well,
Building the sheds.
building the sheds?
Building tool sheds. Now we got them built. We had them built, of course, but I mean,
Mhm.
that's what we
That was an
wanted them
accomplishment.
to put the machinery in. So
Okay.
I didn't build them, but
Right.
that was the most.
And Rita, tell me, how has the family grown? How large is your family now? From just the two of you that got married way back, how many?
Well, at Christmas time, what is it, 40 town, 42 at Wilton Center Hall?
It's a lot of children, a lot of great.
How many
You have
we
how
got?
many?
How many we got?
Yeah, where are you at with children, great grandchildren, great grandchildren?
I think, what is it, Matt, 16 grandchildren and how many great grandchildren? You
I
counted them.
said 18 a second ago.
That's a lot. Well, I want to thank both of you for spending the day with me and sharing some of your experiences with me today. It has been a pleasure.